What is up, YouTube? Gdubley here, bringing you another episode of Psychics 101. Today I'm going to be covering the first turn drop within the Psychic archetype. But first and foremost, check out the description bar below for a link to the Pojo.com Psychic Strategy thread. I'm the original poster and a main contributor there. Lots of intuitive minds to go check out and talk about Psychics. On to the video. I'm going to be talking about the first turn drops within the Psychic deck, and what I mean by first turn drop is the Psychic player's first normal summon or set on their first turn, whether that be the first turn of the game or the second turn of the game. This is an area where Psychics are currently struggling simply because they run a lot of monsters that aren't very useful in the first part of the game. Psychics really seem to excel mid to late game, where they have monsters in the graveyard to toolbox out of, or they have other synchro options and so on and so forth for their loops and whatnot. Running cards like Wizard and Cleric and dropping them first turn really doesn't do a whole lot, and you really don't. That's not an optimal situation to drop them because there's nothing in the graveyard. Esper Girl, Psychic Commander, Mind Master, Destructitron, Psychic Jumper, those aren't good cards to be running or dropping first turn either, because you can't utilize their effects. And obviously you can protect these monsters with your magic and traps in order to maintain field presence and utilize their abilities on the following turn. But with how fast this game is currently going and with how much destruction there is out there right now, that's not necessarily the best option either. So today I'm going to be talking about the best first turn drops within the Psychic archetype, as well as other out of theme cards that could be included for first turn drops. First and foremost, you have the best first turn drop within the Psychic archetype, and one that you should be running 3 of, and that is Psychic Witch. Psychic Witch is awesome, maintains field presence, sets up plays with Esper Girl, fills your graveyard for Wizard and Cleric. It's just awesome. 1400 attack is nothing to sneeze at. When it's destroyed in any way, it gets its effect, not just battle. It may not be protecting your life points like something like Giant Rat or Mystic Tomato can do. However, that can be seen as a good thing because it'll protect the monster that you bring out with it, because it's brought out during the next standby phase, and there's a lot less ways to get rid of that monster. So gotta main 3 Psychic Witch. If you open Psychic Witch and you get off its effect, a lot of times you're going to win the game. Next, I'm going to be talking about Dr. Cranium. Essentially, it's a watered down Psychic Witch that has to be destroyed in battle to get its effect. You also got to pay 800 life points for it to be a floater. I personally hate this card. I'm not a fan of it. It does have its uses in being a 1-for-1 target, as well as being material for Formula Synchron. But with how fast this game is, and the fact that you don't really want to protect it because you want to get its ability, and the fact that you still have to pay life points in order to even utilize its effect, it's just a lot of situational negative effects that I really don't want to use. And it's just for me, it's a dead draw anytime outside of the first turn, and personally I believe there are better first turn drops than Dr. Cranium. The next one that I'm going to be talking about is a card that I've had a lot of success with recently. It's a card that's really not seen, at least that I've personally seen, a lot of Psychic decks lately, and it's funny because it's actually the most popular Psychic, and that's Craybons. Craybon's the level 2 tuner that's dark, which is actually a bad thing in this circumstance. I wish it were Earth, but that's beside the point. This is a great first turn drop because it maintains field presence with whatever your opponent drops. Yeah, you may be losing some life points, but this is great for maintaining field presence for, that you have next turn, so that, you can drop your Overdrive Teleporter by tributing Craybons. You can summon your Mind Master and go off with a loop. You can, you have a lot of other options that you can do too. Craybons just keeps your options open. This card is also really good mid to late game, which I've already covered, where Psychics do really well, because you can remove it from play with Wizard or Cleric, and when Wizard Cleric leave the field, you can bring Craybons. Not only is it a level 2 tuner, but it can also protect your life points at the end game state, where protecting your life points and top decking war, like this card can do a lot for you. That's going to do it for within the Psychic archetype itself. There are other options, of which I personally believe that the Psychic deck needs to go into their out-of-theme options in order to, one, add consistency and more explosive plays to the deck. However, I have to forewarn you that you got to be careful how many out-of-theme cards you include in the deck, because it will actually hurt the consistency of the deck, because cards like Wizard and Cleric and Witch and Psychic Commander only work with other Psychics. So you have to have a healthy dose of Psychic monsters within your deck to even warrant running a Psychic deck. You know, if you include too many options or too many out-of-theme cards, you're really limiting your options, and you might as well be running another archetype, you know, like plants or something like that. So out-of-theme first-turn drops include, you know, stuff like Raikou, Card Trooper, a Plant Engine, Debris Engine, Gravekeeper Engine, so on and so forth. These cards, you know, are great first-turn openings because they maintain field presence, and they're good first stage of the game, mid-game, late game. They're just good all around. I particularly am liking Raikou more and more every single day, simply because it fuels the graveyard for Cleric and Wizard, as well as destroying, you know, bothersome cards like Xian and Necro Valley and stuff that impede my plays. Card Trooper alongside Cleric and Debris Dragon, you know, obviously it's really good for easy Black Rose plays and stuff like that, so that's definitely an option too. You know, a combination of, you know, in-theme and out-of-theme cards like Cranium, like Kraybons, like Witch, Raikou, Spy, stuff like that is definitely going to help the consistency in the long run and in the early game state for Psychic decks, and that's what we're all shooting for. So that's my two cents and my thoughts on early game and how Psychics can overcome the disadvantages that they have in order to hopefully succeed in this meta. That's going to do it for my video today. I know I keep on saying that I'm going to be posting up decks soon. I'm sorry. I'm waiting for my teammate. He's been having some hard times lately. He's got some of my cards that I really don't want to have to proxy things if I don't have to. But keep an eye out for those. Visit me on Pojo and that Psychic thread that I'm going to post in the description. Thumbs up, rate, subscribe. And this is GW signing out.